Hello, everyone. This is Auburn Fast Talk, where you get everything real here at Auburn Fast Talk. And today I'm going to be giving just a quick breakdown of what I anticipate or expect from our schedule this year. Just what games we may have that may be a bit shaky, and games that we may of course win, or games that we may lose. Okay, so starting it off, we have Oregon. It's a neutral site game. Um, I would say that if the defense is shaky, that being the first game, that can end up being a game that we lose. So that just depends on if the defense is shaky and and we have but the thing, even if we have a even if we have a bad day with defense on that particular day, um, we'll still be able to put together the question marks on how we'll be looking throughout the season. But that game, it may end up being a L for us, but I'm going to put that to just being a toss up. It's too early to tell right now, of course, and I just I just can't call it directly. So that's a toss up. Next game will be Tulane. That'll be at home, of course. Sorry, that was Facebook, so forgive me. The Tulane game, of course, that should be a breeze. Even though Tulane has a good team coming in this year, that should still be a breeze for us. Only thing I will say for that one, I will automatically count that as a W. But if it's not, if it ends up being not as a dominant game as it should be, then we should definitely start being worried. But that's a W for me. Next game will be Kent State. Kent State, another one. Same category. I feel as though that'll be a W, even though Kent State does have a good team. But same as a Tulane game, if it's shaky or if it's not as dominant, it is time to be worried. But a W, I have that as. Then we're on the road at Texas A&M. Like I've stated in previous videos, the Texas A&M game will be very telling on Gus's job security and the season that we're going to be embarking on. Because by that time, that would be the fourth game. So by that time, we should be able to have a clear picture of who's going to be completely the starting lineup on defense and offense, and what our team is going to be looking like as a whole. Again, Texas A&M game, that's kind of a slight trap game, in my opinion. But I will say that that would be a toss-up for me right now. Next, we have Mississippi State. Mississippi State still has a good team. They lost a few guys to the draft, and a few guys just to graduating and moving on. But they still have key players on their offensive line and at their skill positions as well. So I'm expecting Mississippi State to still have a good offense. Defense, may be questionable, but may be improved. Don't really know. That will be at home in Jordan-Hare, but I'm gonna go on the. I'm going to say that's a win. I'm going to say that's a win. But if I was to do this video again, towards the beginning of the season, I may change that. But for right now, I'm going to say it's a win. The next one, we're on the road at Florida. Florida, which is still being coached by Mr. Muschamp. Florida still definitely has a good team still coming back. It being on the road, that would be to me a real trap game for us because we're going to be on the road, and I think it's been a long time since we played Florida on the road. So I'm going to say that may be an L, but I would hope for us to win that going into the bye week. But I'm going to say it may be an L. But I may change that. But for right now, I'm saying that one might be an L, depending on the type of Florida team that comes out. If Florida comes out and they're able to establish the passing and also being able to be solid on the run game, and we're not able to stop it or at least contain it, it's going to be bad. So it may end up being an L. Of course, after that we have a bye week. Hopefully we don't have any injuries by that point, or not too many severe injuries by that point. Next game we have is at Arkansas. Arkansas has always been a trap game for us, as far as in the media's eyes. Arkansas hasn't been Arkansas in a while. So with that being on the road, I have to say that'll be a W. I would be surprised if it doesn't. And in that case, then yes, it's time to worry. Extremely. Of course, after that game, we have another bye week. And then we go on the road to LSU. Of course, you guys know we have not beaten LSU on the road since 1998-99. At the time, I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I have yet to see us beat them at LSU. I would love to see that. But granted, LSU is stacked. It's not that LSU is never a slouch that you can just run over. Because they're LSU. That game, I'm gonna throw it. I would say it may be an L, but I'm just gonna say it's a toss up because we did come close. The 2017 season, if I'm correct, we came close, but we blew the game. But that's another story. But I will say that's a toss up. The next game, of course, is Ole Miss. Ole Miss hasn't been Ole Miss in not a long time, but they've hit a decline. So I'm going to count that as a W, even though they do have key players there still. Still have an okay coaching staff. I'm still going to say that that'll end up being a W, and it's in Jordan Hare, so it'll be a W. Of course, we have to play Georgia that next week in Jordan Hare. Of course, you have home field advantage. But of course, it's a rivalry game, so home field advantage doesn't fare very well in most seasons. Georgia is stacked still, so they're still going to be able. I anticipate they're still going to be able to run the ball extremely well against any of their opponents next season. Along with being able to move the ball in the air, so. Even though it pains me to say this, but I'm going to say Georgia's going to be an L. It sucks, but yeah, I'm going to say that's going to be an L. The next week we have against Samford at Jordan Hare. I think that may be homecoming, or the Kent State game may be homecoming. I'm not sure. I have to look back at my other information to see. I think either one of them are, but of course, we have Samford next. Samford, like I said, is in the same boat as the Tulane and Kent State game. I'm gonna say there's gonna be a W. I don't see with those three games, with Tulane, Kent State, Samford, with those three games. With either one or of all of them, if we're not as dominant with those games, to where we can easily pull the first string out and let the second string get some reps and third string get some reps. If we're not able to do that against those three teams, then it's time to worry. That's all I'm saying. Then, of course, we have Alabama in Jordan Hare, Iron Bowl. We all know what that is. I'm going to say there's going to be an L also. Alabama, since Nick Saban has been there, Alabama has been tough, extremely tough. And that's predicated on the job that Nick Saban is doing down there. Alabama is tough. And for this upcoming season, it's still question marks with us. And just to call it now, it pains me to say it, but the Alabama game is going to be an L. We're going to lose that. So, right now, I have it being I have at least 4 games out of our season, 4 or 5 games out of our season scheduled that are toss-ups to me and kind of some trap games to me. Then I have a few that should be outright that we win. But hey, we'll just have to wait and see on what this season is going to look like. But yeah, that is my prediction, so semi-prediction on the season, because I'm going to do another one towards the first week of the season. So this one is like my first draft. So that should do it with that. This is Auburn Fast Talk, where you get everything real about Auburn. And I will be back with more content later in the week. So be tuned in, and I'm ready for that. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and talk to you guys later. War Eagle.